Sold for 1 credit. The auction room was cold. Metal walls, bright lights, and silence, except for the sound of chains. Lyra stood in the center. Her hands were tied. Her feet were dirty. Her eyes were wide with fear. She was just 17. Thin, tired, and alone. Aliens sat all around her. Big ones, small ones. Some had sharp teeth. Some had extra arms. None of them looked kind. They stared at her like she was nothing. Just a tool. Just another body to use in the mines. The alien auctioneer shouted in a rough voice. Human female. Young. Strong. Start price, 10 credits. No one raised a hand. The auctioneer frowned. 5 credits. Still nothing. Lyra felt her heart sink. She wasn't even worth 5 credits to them. 2 credits, the alien shouted. Anyone? A big green alien laughed. Too small. She'll break in a week. 1 credit. The auctioneer yelled, angry now. Come on. 1 credit. Finally, a thin alien in a black hood lifted a hand. I'll take her, he hissed. The auctioneer slammed his hand on the table. Sold. For 1 credit. The crowd laughed. 1 credit was the lowest price ever seen at this auction. Lyra was worthless to them. Just trash. Chains were pulled. She stumbled forward. A guard grabbed her by the arm. She looked around the room one last time. That's when she saw him. A human. Sitting in the back, wearing a brown coat and a hood. His face was rough. He had a scar under his eye. He looked strong, dangerous, but his eyes were kind. For a second, their eyes met. Lyra's lips trembled. She wanted to scream. Ask for help, but she didn't. And the man didn't move. The guard pulled her outside. The sun was hot. The air was dry. A dirty truck was waiting to take her to the mines. The mines were far away, deep under a red mountain. Everyone said it was a death sentence. The truck was full of others, humans, some aliens, all silent, all afraid. Lyra sat in the corner. She held her knees. She didn't cry. She couldn't. The truck began to move. Dust filled the air. But 10 minutes into the ride, something strange happened. Boom! An explosion hit the front of the truck. The driver screamed. The truck crashed to the side. Screams filled the air. Aliens jumped out. They were fast, in black armor. At first, Lyra thought they were raiders, pirates. But these attackers didn't hurt the slaves. They helped them out of the truck. One even cut Lyra's chains. Run, he said. She looked around, confused. Who are you? The man didn't answer. Then she saw him again. The human from the auction. He stepped out of a small ship nearby. He was holding a weapon, but he didn't aim it. He walked straight to her. You okay? He asked. His voice was deep calm. Lyra was shaking. Why did you follow me? I wasn't following you, he said. I was planning to hit that auction house for weeks, but when I saw them sell you for 1 credit. He paused. I couldn't let that happen. She stared at him. You don't even know me. I don't need to, he said. No human should be treated like that. Suddenly, a blast came from behind. The alien guards from the auction were chasing them. The man turned to his team. Get the others back to the ship. I'll take her. He grabbed Lyra's hand. Come with me. They ran together, through the rocks, toward a hidden path behind the hills. Lyra's heart was racing, not just from the escape, but from something else. Hope. For the first time in years, she felt it. They reached the manned ship. It was small but fast. Inside, she sat down, still breathing hard. He started the engine. The ship lifted off the ground. What's your name? He asked. Lyra, she said softly. What's yours? He looked at her. Jax. She nodded. Thank you, Jax. He didn't smile, but his eyes softened. You're not just a number, he said. You were never worth just 1 credit. and I'll prove it." As the ship flew into the sky, Lyra looked down at the world she left behind. She didn't know where they were going. She didn't know if it was safe. But she knew one thing. Her life had changed. Forever. "Why did you save me?" Lyra sat quietly in the corner of the ship, her knees pulled close to her chest. Her hands still shook, even though the chains were gone. The ship was warm, but her body felt cold. She looked around. It was a small ship, not fancy like the alien cruisers, but it was fast and strong. Metal walls, a few blinking lights, the hum of engines. Jack stood at the front, piloting with one hand. His eyes stayed on the screen, his face calm, unreadable. Lyra stared at him for a long time. Finally, she broke the silence. "Why did you save me?" Jax didn't look back. "I already told you. You were treated like trash. That's not right." "But you don't even know me," she said. Her voice cracked. "What if I'm just no one?" Jax pressed a button on the console. The ship jumped to light speed. Stars stretched into lines. "You're not no one," he said. "You're human. That's enough." Lyra looked down. Her fingers touched the red marks on her wrists, where the chains had been. "No one's ever said that to me before," she whispered. Jax didn't answer. After a long pause, he turned around. "I used to be a soldier," he said. "A long time ago. Fought in the Outer Rim Wars. Watched friends die. Watched people like you get sold, broken, forgotten." He took off his jacket and threw it on a chair. The scar on his neck became visible, long, deep, old. "I couldn't stop it then," he said, "but I can now." Lyra stared at the scar. "Did someone do that to you?" Jax nodded. "An alien commander. I was captured. Escaped after 2 weeks. But others didn't." Lyra's eyes burned. "You saved me because you couldn't save them." He looked her in the eye. "I saved you because I had the chance, and because they would have wanted me to." She swallowed hard. "I don't even know who I am." Jax raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "I don't remember my parents," she said. "They told me I was born in the mining zone, raised by traders, then sold. Again and again. I don't even know my real name. Lyra was just something one of the guards called me." Jax leaned back against the wall. "Then maybe it's time to find out who you really are." The ship's alarm beeped. Jax walked over to the screen. "We've got company. A small scout ship just locked onto us." Lyra stood up fast. "Are they following us from the auction?" "Probably," Jax said. He moved quickly, typing commands. "We'll have to hide." The ship flew down toward a rocky moon below. Clouds of dust and gas floated in the air. "Hold on," Jax shouted. The ship dived fast into a narrow canyon between jagged cliffs. The enemy ship followed. Blasts fired. The ship shook. Lyra grabbed the chair, holding on tight. Jax flew through the canyon like he knew it by heart. Almost there. Suddenly, he pressed a button. A metal pod shot out the back of the ship, full of heat and signal noise. The enemy ship took the bait. It chased the pod and flew off course, right into a rock wall. Boom. Fire. Smoke. Silence. Jax pulled the ship up and flew toward a dark cave hidden in the rocks. Inside, he landed the ship. Lyra was breathing hard. Her heart was racing. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. "That was insane." He smirked. "It worked, didn't it?" Lyra laughed, just a little. It felt strange. She hadn't laughed in a long time. They sat in silence for a moment. The cave was quiet. The stars outside the ship looked soft and far away. Lyra finally asked, "What happens now?" Jax opened a locker and tossed her a gray coat. "Now we find out who you really are." She caught the coat and held it close. "There's a place," Jax said. "An old space vault. Pre-war tech. It scans DNA and connects to ancient databases. If you have any family, Any history, we'll find it there. Lyra blinked. Why are you doing all this? Jax's eyes grew serious. Because there's something different about you. You touched something in that vault during the escape. It lit up. That tech hasn't responded to anyone in years. Not even the aliens could open it. She frowned. What if I'm just some experiment? Or, Jax said slowly, what if you're something the aliens are afraid of? That thought hit her like a storm. He stood and walked to the ship's control panel. Get some rest. We'll move again soon. Lyra curled up on the bench, her mind racing. She wasn't sure who she was. She wasn't sure where they were going. But she wasn't afraid anymore. Not with Jax. And not with the truth finally starting to come out. The Warlord's planet. The ship floated quietly in the shadows of space. Outside, stars blinked like cold eyes. Below them, a dark planet turned slowly, covered in storm clouds and broken land. No green, no oceans. Just black rock, strange fires, and twisted metal towers that stabbed the sky. Lyra stood beside Jax in the cockpit. She stared down at the planet. What is this place? She asked. Jax leaned forward. Xerix 9, one of the oldest warlord zones, controlled by alien gangs and mercenaries. No real laws. No peace. Lyra's hands clenched. Why are we going there? Jax looked at her. Because that's where your answers are. She frowned. I thought the vault was in space. It is, Jax said. But the key to open it is down there. He pointed to a blinking red dot on the screen. A man named Corvin has it. He used to be a tech trader, until the warlords took over. Now he hides under their protection, and he'll just give it to us. Lyra asked. Jax gave her a small, cold smile. He'll give it to me. The ship started its descent. The sky grew darker. Lightning cracked in the clouds. Giant towers rose from the surface. Alien buildings, half destroyed, patched with scrap. The ground was full of holes and mines and broken machines. Lyra had never seen a place so dead, and yet so dangerous. They landed on a flat metal pad near the edge of a black city. Strange lights glowed in the distance. Alien creatures moved in the shadows. Some watched the ship. Others didn't care. Jax opened a compartment and pulled out 2 cloaks. Wear this, he said, handing one to Lyra. Keep your head down. Don't talk to anyone unless I tell you. And stay close. Lyra nodded. She wrapped the cloak around her shoulders. It was heavy and smelled like oil. They stepped out into the city. The air was thick. Smog drifted in clouds. The smell of rust and fire burned her nose. Alien voices echoed through the streets. Shouts, arguments, laughter. Strange music played from broken speakers. Robots limped past, carrying heavy crates. Jax walked fast, eyes sharp. He moved like he'd been here before, and like he didn't want to be noticed. Lyra stayed close, her heart pounding. Every alien face looked dangerous. She could feel their eyes on her. She tried to keep her hood low. They reached a wide alley, guarded by 2 huge aliens with 4 arms each. Their skin was red. Their teeth looked like knives. They didn't smile. Jax stepped forward. I'm here to see Corvin. One of the guards growled. Password. Jax leaned in and whispered something. Lyra didn't hear it, but the guard's face changed. He stepped aside. The door opened. Inside, it was dark and hot. The air smelled of chemicals. Machines hummed on every wall. A thin man sat at the center of the room. He looked human, but his eyes were silver. His arms were metal. He smiled too fast. Jax, the man said, you're not dead. That's a surprise. Corvin, Jax said, I need the key. Corvin laughed. You show up after 5 years and ask for the key like it's nothing. Jax didn't blink. You owe me. Corvin leaned back. That was a long time ago. Jax pulled something from his coat. A small crystal chip. Corvin's eyes widened. Is that real? Jax nodded. Trade. 1 chip. For the key. Corvin snatched it and turned to a metal safe. He typed in a code. The door opened with a hiss. Inside was a small silver cube, glowing faintly. He tossed it to Jax. Still works. But be careful. Others are looking for it too. Jax caught it. Let them look. But as they turned to leave, another voice echoed in the room. Well, I thought I smelled human. Lyra froze. A tall alien stood at the door now. Dark armor, yellow eyes, and a wicked smile. His name was Grax, a bounty hunter. I've been following you, Jax, Grax said. And I hear you've picked up a special girl. He looked at Lyra, so small, and yet so valuable. Jax stepped in front of her. Not today, Grax. Grax laughed. You really think you can stop me alone? Jax didn't answer. He threw a flash bomb to the ground. Boom! White light filled the room. Lyra coughed, blind for a second. Then Jax grabbed her hand. Run. They ran through the hallway, past shouting guards. Blasts hit the walls around them. Outside, the sky was darker now. Sirens wailed. Jax and Lyra sprinted toward the ship. Grax followed close behind. As they reached the ramp, Jax turned and fired a blast that hit the ground in front of Grax, sending him flying backward. They jumped into the ship. Get us out of here, Lyra shouted. Jax didn't waste a second. The ship lifted fast, rising through the clouds. Enemy ships followed, but Jax spun through the air like a ghost. After a few sharp turns and a hidden warp jump, they were gone. Back in space, safe for now. Lyra leaned back, her chest heaving. You okay? Jax asked. She nodded. That was crazy. Jax opened his hand. The silver cube glowed softly. We got the key, he said. Lyra stared at it. What's inside that vault? Jax looked at her with a serious face. Maybe the truth about who you are, he said. And maybe the reason the aliens are so scared of you. Lyra swallowed hard. She wasn't just some girl sold for 1 credit anymore. She was something more. And the whole galaxy might find out soon. The human price. The ship flew in silence. Lyra sat near the glowing cube they had taken from the warlord's planet. It sat on a metal table, pulsing like a slow heartbeat. Soft blue light spilled across her face. Her eyes were fixed on it. Her mind raced with questions. What was in the vault? Why had alien tech reacted to her before? Who was she? Really? Across the room, Jax checked the ship's systems. His hands moved fast, his face tense. They had escaped Grax, the bounty hunter, for now. But he knew it wouldn't last. They'll come again, he said. They always do. Lyra turned to him. Why? Why do they want me so badly? Jax looked at her. Because you're not just a girl sold for 1 credit. You're something bigger. Maybe a symbol. Maybe a threat. Lyra shook her head. But I don't remember anything. I'm just me. Jax walked over and sat across from her. You remember that vault you touched during the escape? He said. That door hasn't opened in over 50 years. Hundreds of aliens tried. Scientists. Hackers. Nothing worked. But it opened for me, she whispered. Not just opened, Jax said. It recognized you. She looked down at her hands. They didn't feel special, just tired and cold. Suddenly, the ship's alarm beeped. Jax jumped to the controls. We've got a ship following us. No ID signal. It's not friendly. Lyra stood. Is it Grax again? Worse, Jax muttered. Slavers. The screen showed a sleek black ship, bigger, faster, armed. They're hailing us, Jax said. He pressed a button. A face appeared on the screen. An alien with pale skin, long sharp teeth, and cold yellow eyes. His voice was smooth but full of poison. Well, is this the famous Jax I'm speaking to? The alien said. I heard you stole something that belongs to me. Jax didn't blink. I don't have time for this, Vor. The alien Vor smiled wider. Oh, but I have time for you. And the girl. Lyra stepped back. Vor's eyes locked on her through the screen. She's worth more than you know, Jax. There are offers coming in from across the galaxy. Everyone wants her. The price on her head keeps rising. Jax's voice was cold. She's not for sale. Vor laughed. She already was. Once. For 1 credit. Why not sell her again for 10 million? Lyra's hands curled into fists. I'm not a thing. Vor grinned. Oh, but you are. To the right buyer, you're a rare key. A weapon. A message. Humans don't even know what they lost during the First War. But we do. Jax ended the call with a single click. Then he turned to Lyra. They're going to try to take you. Again. Lyra stepped forward. Then we fight. Jax raised an eyebrow. You're not afraid. I'm tired of being afraid, she said. Tired of hiding. If I really am something important, then I want to know why. I want to face it. Jax gave a small nod. Good, because I've got a plan. Later that night, on a dead moon, Jax landed the ship on a small, uninhabited moon. No cities, no life, just rocks, craters, and silence. They set up decoys to hide their heat signal. Then they waited. Jax gave Lyra a small energy pistol. Only if you need it, he said. She took it. I hope I don't. Suddenly, noise. A blast shook the rocks. A ship landed nearby. Heavy footsteps hit the ground. Vor's crew. 3 tall aliens. Armed. Searching. Jax motioned for silence. Lyra hid behind a rock, holding her breath. 1 alien passed close. Too close. Suddenly, a sound behind them. Jax attacked first. Silent. Quick. 1 alien down. But the others fired. Lyra ducked, heart pounding. 1 alien aimed at her. She froze until her hand lit up. Blue light exploded from her palm. The alien dropped his weapon and screamed. Jax stared in shock. What was that? He said. Lyra shook. I don't know. But the alien wasn't moving anymore. Jax helped her up. You're changing. No, Lyra said. I think I'm remembering. They dragged the unconscious alien to the ship. Jax searched his pocket and found something strange. A file chip. Inside it were files labeled Project Keyblood, marked with the human military symbol, long believed lost. Lyra opened the file. There were pictures of her as a baby in a lab, surrounded by human scientists. A note under the photo. Key to the vault. Human restoration protocol. Gen ID. Lyra. Jax stepped back. You're not an accident. I was made for something, she whispered. They knew, even before the war ended. He looked at her. This isn't just about who you are anymore. She nodded. It's about who we all were, and who we could be again. They stared at the stars above the moon. Lyra knew the price on her head wasn't just money. She was the key to a future the aliens didn't want humans to remember. And the real war was just beginning. She's not just a girl. The stars were quiet above the dead moon. But Lyra's mind was anything but. She stood outside the ship, holding the glowing silver cube in one hand and the file chip in the other. The wind stirred the dust around her feet. The night was cold, but she barely felt it. Inside her chest, something had changed. She wasn't afraid anymore. She wasn't a slave, not a number, not a girl sold for 1 credit. She was Lyra, Gen ID Keyblood, a name, a code, a mystery built into her bones. And now she wanted answers. Behind her, Jax stood in the doorway of the ship, watching. You've been quiet for a long time, he said. Lyra turned to him. I've been remembering. He walked closer, his boots crunching on the moon rock. What did you remember? Flashes. Sounds. A woman's voice, calling me by my full name. I think she was my mother. Jax nodded slowly. And the lab. She looked at the chip. It wasn't a lab. It was a refuge. After the first alien war, some humans escaped. They were trying to protect something. Me. Jax looked up at the stars. The aliens erased a lot of records. We've only heard stories about old Earth scientists who worked on legacy programs. Lyra gripped the cube. On one of those programs. She stared at the cube. It pulsed in her hand, reacting to her touch again. She didn't feel human. She didn't feel alien. She felt like both, and neither. I think this is the key to more than just a vault, she said. It might be a map. A beacon. Jax's face hardened. If that's true, then everyone out there will be hunting us. Even worse than before. Lyra met his eyes. Let them come. I'm done running. The hidden vault. 2 jumps later, they reached a forgotten zone in deep space. An asteroid field swirled in slow motion, broken rocks glowing with strange energy. And there, in the center, was the vault. A giant black structure, floating silently. It looked ancient. It had no doors, no windows, no signs of life. Only one line was carved into its surface, in a language long lost to most species. Human memory must not die. Jax parked the ship nearby. Lyra walked toward the vault, cube in hand. As she stepped closer, the ground under her feet lit up, circles of light responding to her presence. The front wall of the vault shimmered, then split open with a hiss. Inside was dark, cold, but not empty. They stepped into a large circular chamber, walls filled with old tech, screens, machines, wires. In the center was a glowing pedestal. Lyra placed the cube on it. The room came alive. Lights blinked. Screens lit up. Holograms flickered. And then, the voice spoke. Identity confirmed. Gen ID Lyra. Welcome to Memory Core 7. Lyra gasped. The voice sounded like the one from her memory. Her mother's voice. The walls showed images of Earth before the wars, of the human resistance, of babies in pods, and of scientists crying as they sealed the vault. This vault contains the last knowledge of free Earth, the voice said. You are the carrier. You are the link. You are the hope. Jax stared in shock. They didn't just make you. They trusted you. Lyra stepped forward. Why me? The voice answered. Because you were born with the code, the blood, and the will. The screen shifted, showing alien fleets, charts of battles, and classified files. Lyra pointed. They knew the aliens would win the first war. That's why they made this, to start over, when the time was right. Jax's jaw clenched, and now it is. Suddenly, alarms blared. The vault shook. Lyra and Jax turned to the screens. Outside, 5 ships had arrived, alien warlords, bounty hunters, and mercenaries. Grax was leading them. He tracked us, Jax said. We have to fight. Lyra stepped back from the pedestal, but before they could run, the voice returned. There is another way. The side panel opened. Inside was a small black disc, a transmitter. This will send a signal to every old human colony, hidden across the stars. They will come, if you call them. Lyra grabbed the disc. Jax looked at her. Are you ready to light the fire? Lyra stared at the glowing walls, the history, the truth. She had spent her whole life being owned. Now she owned something powerful. A choice. She pressed the disc. The signal. Across the galaxy, in quiet zones and hidden sectors, old human colonies saw the signal. Screens flickered. The message was simple. We remember. The fire is still burning. The girl is alive. The vault is open. On a dusty planet, an old human warrior smiled and picked up his sword. On a space station, a group of orphans looked up at the message and whispered her name. Lyra. She was no longer just a girl. She was the signal. She was the voice. And she was ready. One human against them all. The vault doors slammed shut. Jax watched from the shadows as the enemy ships circled above the asteroid like vultures. Grax's flagship hovered closest, its cannons aimed at the vault. Dozens of alien soldiers dropped onto the rock, scanning the ground for signs of life. Inside the vault, Lyra stared at the flickering screens, heart pounding. "They're here," she said. "Too many of them." Jax checked his rifle. His jaw was tight, calm, but behind his eyes was fire. "They want the signal shut down," he said. "They want to erase you before the colonies can rise." Lyra stepped closer. "Then let me fight." Jax turned to her. "No," he said. "You've already done your part. You lit the flame. Now let me hold the line." Lyra frowned. "You'll die out there." Jax smiled, but it wasn't warm. "Maybe, but I'm not dying for nothing. I'm dying so you can live, and so they remember what a single human can do." He reached into a metal box on the vault wall and pulled out something ancient, a black chest plate with a faded emblem, a human star, broken but still shining. "Pre-war armor," he muttered. "Didn't think I'd wear this again." Lyra's voice cracked. "Please don't go alone." Jax placed a hand on her shoulder. "You gave them hope. I'll give them time." Then, without another word, he turned and walked toward the vault door. The alarms blared one last time, and the steel parted. The last stand begins. Jax stepped onto the rocky surface of the asteroid. Above him, Grax stood tall, aiming a rifle the size of a cannon. "You again," Grax growled. "You just don't know when to quit." "I'm not here to quit," Jax said. "I'm here to remind you what we are." The first wave of alien troops rushed forward. 10, 20, more. Jax moved like lightning. Blaster in one hand, knife in the other. He ducked, rolled, struck. Every movement was sharp, efficient, trained. He wasn't just fighting to kill. He was fighting to delay. Inside the vault, Lyra watched the battle from the screen. Her chest burned. Her fists shook. He was giving everything for her. The vault awakens. Suddenly, the vault lights blinked in a new pattern. A voice echoed again. "Danger confirmed. Defense protocol available." "Lyra." She blinked. "You mean I can control the vault?" "Yes," the voice answered. "But connection requires full trust." Lyra placed her hand on the glowing pedestal. A shock ran through her body. Images flew through her mind. Memories of scientists, soldiers, old Earth. Then energy rushed into her chest. The vault felt her. Meanwhile, outside, Jax was bleeding now. His armor cracked. His left arm burned from a plasma hit. Grax stepped forward, laughing. "Is this it, human? This your great stand?" Jax coughed. "You're still scared of her." "She's a weapon," Grax hissed. "She's a threat to every species that controls this galaxy." Jax smiled through the pain. "Good." Grax raised his weapon. Suddenly, the asteroid shook. A wave of blue energy burst from the vault. Jax's body was lifted by the shock, but not burned. It passed through him. Alien soldiers screamed. Their weapons shorted. Ships began to shut down. Grax stumbled. "What is this?" From the vault door, Lyra stepped out. Her eyes were glowing. The air around her shimmered like heat. "You wanted to erase me," she said. "But I remember now. I know who I am." Grax shouted, "You're just a human." Lyra raised her hand, and the vault behind her responded. Lightning surged from the ground. The asteroid cracked beneath the enemy's feet. "I'm the child of Earth," she said, "and Earth remembers." The enemy falls. One by one, the alien soldiers fled. Some dropped their weapons. Some fell to their knees, blinded by the storm. Grax fired, but the bolt vanished before it touched her. Lyra walked slowly toward him. "Every time you tried to sell me, cage me, silence me. You made me stronger." Grax charged her. A final mistake. She didn't strike him with her hands. The vault did. A pillar of light shot from the core, lifting Grax into the air. He screamed as the energy ripped the armor from his body, the lies from his name. And then, he was gone. Dissolved. Erased. Like the history his kind had tried to erase from hers. After the storm, the light faded. Jax lay on the ground, alive but still. Lyra ran to him, tears in her eyes. "Jax," she whispered, "stay with me." He opened one eye. "Was that you?" She smiled. "Maybe both of us." He laughed weakly. "Told you. You weren't just a girl." Meanwhile, across the stars, the signal spread to every hidden colony, to every slave ship, to every human still in chains. The message was clear. She is alive. She has awakened the vault. We rise now. Old war veterans picked up their weapons. Underground groups powered up their ships. Humans in hiding looked up and whispered one word: Lyra. The fire had been lit. And now, across a galaxy it had forgotten the strength of Earth's children. Humanity was coming home. The credit revolution. The galaxy had been silent for too long. For years, humans were sold, broken, and forgotten. Bought for work, bred for war, used like tools and left to die. And then, one girl changed everything. Her name was Lyra. She had been sold for one credit. Now she was worth more than 1,000 fleets. Now, she was the signal. The fire spreads. After the vault lit the sky, everything changed. Hidden colonies, thought dead, came alive again. Old Earth warships powered up for the first time in decades. Rusted weapons, buried in moon dust, were pulled out by young hands. Across distant mining planets, human slaves watched the signal in secret. Some cried. Some screamed. All of them remembered. They were not alone anymore. They were part of something greater. Lyra's voice. On the edge of the Sirius expanse, a human transmission reached every frequency. Lyra stood before a glowing vault core, her voice steady, clear, and full of fire. I was sold for one credit. A number. A thing. But I was never nothing. I am human, and I remember. We are not broken. We are not lost. We are many, and we are rising. The transmission played again and again. In spaceports, in ghettos, on smuggler radios, even on pirate ships. And slowly, one by one, others began to fight back. The first battle, Station Z9. It started small. A slave riot at Station Z9. Led by a girl who had memorized Lyra's speech word for word. Guards tried to silence her. They failed. By nightfall, humans controlled the station. They renamed it Freedom Dock 1. The revolution had begun. The credit system collapses. Lyra and Jax move fast, jumping from system to system. Not with weapons, but with hope. They cracked the alien slave credit networks, exposed secret trade routes, and shared coordinates to old human havens. Credits, the currency that once priced human lives, started to lose power. Because no one wanted to sell humans anymore. They were scared. Scared of what would happen if they did. Because wherever a slave was sold, Lyra's name echoed in whispers. She's coming. And this time, she's not alone. Jax's mission. While Lyra became the voice, Jax became the shield. He trained fighters, freed ships, took down bounty hunters. He moved like a ghost, a warrior from the past reborn in fire. His name returned to the bounty boards, but now it was respected, feared. He wasn't just a soldier anymore. He was her protector. And that meant something more than any rank. The return to the auction house. 1 year later, the same auction house where it all began still stood, chained humans inside, cruel aliens laughing, credits clinking. But this time, Lyra walked in as a free woman. No chains, no fear, only truth. Behind her, dozens of freed humans stood, strong, silent, unbroken. She stepped onto the same auction stage. The crowd stared. The auctioneer blinked. "Who are you to interrupt?" Lyra smiled. "I was once sold here, for 1 credit." She held up a glowing device. "The old Vault Tech. This time, I'm buying everything." The device exploded with light. The chains shattered. The guards dropped. The slaves stood up and walked out free. The final broadcast. Lyra made one last message, this time from Earth's oldest satellite, rebuilt by the freed colonies. To every soul still in chains, to every human who forgot who they were, you are not alone. They sold us for 1 credit, but our worth is not in numbers. It's in our fire, and it burns brighter than any star. The galaxy washed and changed. A new dawn. Lyra stood on the surface of a green planet. Children laughed in the distance. New cities rose, built by humans, for humans, alongside peaceful species who chose unity over greed. Jack stood beside her, older now, but proud. "You did it," he said. "No," she replied. "We did." Above them, a new flag flew. It wasn't about war. It was about memory, about freedom, and about a girl who was once sold for 1 credit, but lived to light the fire that freed them all.